Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you so much for downloading the Faith Life Podcast. I am your host, Pastor Nathan, here with my co-host, Pastor Matt.
Hey, guys.
And we are ready to rock. We are ready to roll. And as we jump in today, don't forget, if you have not done so already, please take a minute, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you downloaded this. And if you are following us on YouTube, go ahead and hit like, go ahead and hit subscribe, leave a comment below. If you're leaving a comment, reference what it is it's about. Because if you're just like, oh yeah, chips are delicious, I might be confused if I read it later. But if you're like, oh, you know, when you said that you thought chips were good, I agree. Chips are delicious. That would at least help me maybe jog my memory a little bit. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Right. I mean, we could look at like the specific comments and try to figure it out, but it's tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying I agree when it's an hour-long episode.
Yeah.
It's thank you.
That's real tough. Real tough. And as always, you can be a part of the show by emailing us at podcast@dfchurch.com. That's podcast@dfchurch.com.
Seriously, though, email us. Like, we want to hear from you guys. We hear from people that we encounter in person. Oh, I like this week's episode. Email us because we're forgetful people. And we'd like to be able to have that feedback written down. And then we're reminded of it pretty regularly. So yeah, let us know what you think about the episode, questions you have, where you think we got it wrong.
Oh yeah. What should we talk about next?
Yeah.
We've got some hopefully good guests coming on in the coming months. I'm still working on finalizing a few of those details, but it's going to be pretty fun. So this is an example. We had a comment 12 days ago. It has a little chili pepper. It says spicy.
Yeah.
And then it has a smiley face.
Yes, the spicy takes from that episode. They were good. They were good. It was a fun conversation that you and Lex had. I assume it was on that one.
Yeah, it was on that one. Sugar and spice and everything nice.
Is that like the summation of what this podcast is all about?
I think that's the recipe. Isn't that the recipe for girls?
The Powerpuff Girls.
Well, then they added special ingredient X.
Oh.
That's what made them the Powerpuff Girls. Now, because that's the whole thing. Boys are made of, like, what is it? Sticks and snails and puppy dog tails?
Oh, that's fun.
And girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice.
Okay.
It's like an old saying.
Yeah.
And then for the Powerpuff Girls, he added secret ingredient X.
And you're a superhero.
Did we talk about, I know this is crazy, but I guess as Christians, how should we respond to things like the leaked trailer for the live action Powerpuff Girls? Ugh. In horror is how we should respond. Just as humanity, it looks so bad. They were doing a live action. They filmed a whole pilot episode, a live action Powerpuff Girls. Donald Faison from Scrubs was going to be Professor X or whatever. Was Professor Plutonium?
Yeah, I think you're asking the wrong person.
You never watched Powerpuff Girls?
No.
Wow. What kind of a man are you? I'm just saying. I thought everybody watched it back in the day.
No, they didn't.
Did you watch Johnny Bravo?
No.
Did you watch cartoons as like a high schooler?
No.
Wait, what?
I watched them as a child.
Oh my goodness. You were just so deprived.
What cartoons were out when we were in high school?
Rugrats?
Nope.
Doug?
All right, let's see. Cartoons of 1999.
Oh, 99.
Oh.
That's true. That's high school. Okay.
Batman Beyond. I watched a little bit of that series.
Okay, what about just Batman the Animated Series?
I did watch some of that one.
This was all on Cartoon Network. These were ones that were not like kid cartoons. Freakazoid?
Animaniacs. I watched Animaniacs.
Looney Tunes?
Freakazoid was middle school,
Tiny
I thought.
Toons. This might have been middle school as well. Tiny Toons?
I watched Tiny Toons, I think, in middle school.
I could sing every single one of these theme songs. I won't, but I could.
Tiny,
That's like
we're teeny, we're all little. Yeah. No, I
and
got
in
you.
this cartoon, we're invading your TV.
I know you said you
Comment
wouldn't,
the
but here we
censors,
are.
crack up all the censors. That's if I had a superpower. You know, they do that. Like, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? Apparently, at some point in my life, I chose the ability to remember every cartoon theme song I've ever watched.
Wait, you can choose your ability? Wow.
I guess, because that's what I've got.
I missed my opportunity.
I know. It's in the pre-life. Before you come to Earth, God asks you what you want, and that's, you get to pick. Now, the problem is you haven't lived, so you don't really know what you're choosing.
I feel like maybe we should clarify something here for our listeners that is not reality.
This is not actual theology. We're kind of blending a little bit of Mormonism and other things with it. Like, there is a pretty consistent thread of theological thought that would say we have a pre-existence, right? Like, did you watch the movie Soul from Pixar?
Yes.
They've got like there's like pre-life, and they've got to figure out what they're going to be good at, and then they come to the earth. So it's not an absurd concept. Now, it's of course not a biblical concept, but it, if we're just making up funny religious ideas, that's one of them, that we get to pick a superpower.
Maybe that can be an episode sometime. If we were to just make up our own.
If we were to design the true religion, what would it look like?
Yeah.
All right. Let us know. podcast@dfchurch.com. What do you think? Would that be a fun episode if we were going to make our own religion and it was going to be what was actually true? What would it be?
Can we determine what's true just on our own?
Well, in this scenario, we are defining truth.
Got it.
I know, scary, but our culture would love it.
I would say that feels like something that fits our culture really well right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
In the news,
Yeah.
as we move to news stories, the one that jumped out to me, it's not really like a big thing. There's not much to say other than it's kind of sad. Is that Val Kilmer passed away,
Yep.
and he was only like 65. It sounded like pneumonia, but he's been fighting cancer for a while, and so it's probably complications arising from that. But it's kind of like, sometimes I think about it like all the different like celebrities who are older enough that we're going to have to like potentially watch them all like fade away and die. Like Jim Carrey. When Jim Carrey dies, that's going to be sad. Or I'm trying to think about Bill Murray. Actually, the one that's going to make me really sad, and it's going to be any day now, it's going to be Mel Brooks. I love Mel Brooks. He's hilarious, but he's like 99, 100. Like he is, and still doing stuff. He still writes and produces, and
it's crazy.
He not as much, I don't think, but so that'll be sad.
We should do an episode on like how we respond to death, because I think there's some comments that could be made with a lot of the mourning that happens over celebrity death and why we get sad about it.
Right. That's an interesting question.
As Christians, it's worth a discussion maybe.
Yeah. And it's, how do we respond to death of people who we're not at least, and I guess nobody we have knowledge of for sure, but people who are clearly not Christians, not following God. Right. How can we respond when they pass away versus people who we expect are? Now, we could be surprised. Yeah. We can get to heaven and be like, what? Gandhi, what are you doing here? You became a Christian? Weird. Or I pick a Christian person who you'd be surprised isn't there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually looking forward to that part of me. Like, oh my goodness, you made it.
Oh, you made it.
Let's go.
Where's so-and-so? Aww.
But there's no mourning. Right? That's every tear's wiped away. So are we going to be like, or are we just going to be celebrating, rejoicing those that are with Christ?
Well, that's a great
question.
Do
we just forget?
How can we, that's a good one.
Questions.
That's a good one. How can we have the ultimate joy and goodness of eternity when there will be people there or people who aren't there that we loved? Or people there that we didn't.
Yeah. No, I think both ways are.
You're going to be like,
Mother
Teresa, you're not here, but Ted Bundy, you are. Whoa. Oof. That'll be a weird moment.
Yep. And like, it's worth thinking about, and I know this isn't our episode today, but we'll talk about it more later. Like if we're honest with our flesh, there are probably people in our lives who, if, we're in the new heaven, new earth, we're rejoicing and celebrating, we turn around and saw them and be like, ew, why are you here?
Right.
Like if we're being honest with ourselves, that's where our hearts are for a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
And we should probably check that.
Do you think the moment you die and you're brought up before God, is there like a line?
Is that like in a puff of smoke?
Yeah. Poof, like a genie. Is there like a line and people like you're getting scanned in and there's 2 elevators or something?
There are 2 elevators. Yes.
Is that like, I wonder, like, logistically,
Yeah.
do you just show up in one of the spots? Do you have like is there a waiting room?
Do you take a number?
Is there a line?
Yeah.
I've always thought if there was like a big line as people are dying and they're just popping in line behind you.
Yeah.
This is kind of dark.
Oh boy.
If you're like a crazy mass murderer, and so you just killed a bunch of people and then kill yourself or die by the police, all of a sudden you're now waiting in line with them. All those people you just killed.
Oh, like for judgment.
Yeah, for waiting for your turn. And so it's all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, what the crud, dude? And you're just like, sorry. Like that's the awkward moment.
Have we done a podcast episode on like that part of the end times theology?
Wait.
Like new heaven, new earth, and
I thought you meant waiting in line to get into heaven.
In line.
Is that how it happens?
That's even.
I don't think we have.
I know we've talked about end times.
Yeah. So you're talking about like
remember.
Final judgment and what that looks like.
Yeah.
The Bema seat, as they call it. No, I don't think we have.
All right.
Should we?
We should.
Let us know. Podcast at dfchurch.com. That's podcast at dfchurch.com. It's my radio announcer voice.
Yeah. Huh?
Here's the thing. When you're on a podcast, you got to be a little over the top. Otherwise, you sound like you're going to sleep. And this is not Discovery After Dark. We're not doing smooth tunes to lull you to sleep. But we could talk in a lower voice register
you know what
the
we are
whole
doing?
time. Tell me.
We're going to do something a little fun today.
We are going to do something a little fun today. So let's jump into our main topic. Matt, this topic was your idea.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So baseball season just started.
Allegedly.
Yep. Go Dodgers. They are now 8-0.
Can I ask you a question real quick about baseball? Sorry. Best start. But here's the thing. This is, I saw a TikTok about baseball and I didn't understand it.
That checks out.
And it was a guy scores a home run without touching the ball, is what the caption said. Without his bat touching the ball. Okay. So the guy's up there. He kind of hits it. It kind of goes up, but then a guy gets it. He's running to base. There's all this confusion. These people running back and forth, or they don't know what's happening. And then he kind of like walks back, and then all the referees run over to the dugout and they talk to everybody. And they're like, is this going to be a grand slam? Is it going to be blah, blah, blah? But it was like, the guy seemed like he caught it, but maybe it went out and then he caught it. I don't know. So then the same guy who hit it walks back up to the base with nothing in his hand, goes, swings it, and then walks up to a base.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
What in the world is happening there?
He actually did hit the ball the first time. Got the home run.
Maybe, but it seemed like they caught it.
Right. So they went to review to determine. So he thought he was out. Everyone thought he was out. They went to review. They determined it was actually a home run. And so he had to actually properly touch all the bases. Otherwise, his run doesn't count. So even on like the end of the game, a walk-off home run that would end a game, you still have to go through the motions of running around and touching every single base in the proper order in order for your run to count. And so he had to go through the motions to do it. So he just went up to pretended to hit a ball so that he could then properly get to all the bases.
But how can you catch it and still be a home run?
So it probably hit the wall first and bounced into his glove. Like over the home run line. It probably made contact.
Okay, so if it goes far enough, it's automatically home run even if they catch it?
No.
But
if it makes contact in that territory, then
so like if it goes into the stands,
and
bounces and then back into there and he
home
catches
run.
it, it's still home run.
Yeah. Yep.
That's weird.
If it hits
the
rail of the stand, and then if it hits the wall
what if
right
the guy
above
is
that paint line,
super athletic and he leaps into the stands and catches it before it hits anything else? Is that still out?
As long as his last position of his feet was in bounds before he made contact with the ball, yes. You can't like run, jump the fence, stand in home run territory and catch it.
Weird. I just thought no matter what, if you caught it, it was out.
If he leaps over and catches it, yes.
But if he lands first,
and catches it, no, because he's already like in home run territory.
Baseball's weird. All right, so best game of the start of the season.
No. 8-0 best record to like start a season. Anyway, with baseball, we just did our fantasy baseball draft. There's several people here at our church that are in a fantasy baseball league.
And by we, he doesn't mean me.
Not Nathan at all. But one of our other producers, Jeremiah, he's in it. Oh. Anyway, that got me thinking about other things that we could do a fun draft for.
Okay.
And so for today, for our podcast.
Yeah, you might have to explain I've never
what a
really
draft
drafted
is. Yeah,
anything.
let me explain that real quick. So a draft is you pick the player or the character that you want on your team.
The character. Okay,
right?
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could draft for like the best animated team of all time, whatever it might be. So with baseball, we draft players. We go in order. So if there's 8 people in our league, you pick 1 through 8. You get to pick whatever player you want that still is available.
Okay.
And then you just keep going until you get your whole team. What we're going to do today is we're going to draft a church staff
together or
separately.
Each separately.
My own church staff, your own church
so
staff.
You're running a church, I'm
from
running a church.
people in the Bible. Okay, so Bible characters to meet these various church staff roles.
Okay.
We cannot pick Jesus.
Why not?
Or God, the Father, or the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
So
well,
any part of the
incorporeal.
triune we may not pick to be a part of our team. We need to pick fully and solely human characters from the Bible, not fully God and fully man characters from the Bible.
So we also can't pick like Balaam's talking donkey.
Oh, right. Let's just do humans.
Okay.
Yep. So
the serpent
or
angels.
We'll
Can't pick those.
We'll flip a coin. Do you have a coin? Do a coin flipping app or something to determine who gets to draft first.
All right. What do you want, heads or tails?
Tails.
Hey, Siri, flip a coin.
Heads.
Okay, so you get to go first.
Sweet.
So I'll tell you the position we're drafting for.
Okay.
I have 10 staff for our church.
So this is like this is a pretty big church.
Or key positions.
Okay.
Not necessarily staff, but key positions of the church, right? And then you're going to pick who you pick and tell me why you're picking them.
Okay. Man, this is going to be tough.
And then, let's see, let me open up a little document. I'll keep track of who has who.
Because we don't have like a list of every character in the Bible.
I mean,
we're going to just go by our brain.
Your brain.
All right.
You have a list of every character in your brain, I'm sure.
Every character in my brain? Oh, boy. That's different than every character in the Bible.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we got Nathan's team.
Yeah. Nathan's staff.
Matt's team.
Wait, so what is my role in this church? Am I the church planter? What's going on there?
Yeah. Coordinator.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I get to hire everybody. Love it.
And some of these positions are probably volunteer positions.
Okay.
But yeah. All right. So you're going to start with your lead pastor.
See, that's starting like at the top.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Well, because we want to pick, like, we don't want to pick the people that we would typically pick for lead pastor for like janitor.
Maybe though, because they have humility.
That's that's good. I like it.
What? All right. Well, if we're picking lead pastor, we are gonna go. And if I pick one, there's a chance you could pick the other. Like the first 2 options that jump up are gonna be like Peter and Paul, right? They seem like they'd be good lead pastors. They're preaching, they're pastoral, they know what's up. So we're gonna go Paul because he is the ultimate pastor. He is divinely inspired to know how a church needs to run and look. He knows how to care for people. He knows how to preach a sermon. He's eloquent in writing. He's a skilled orator. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like Paul's the GOAT.
Yeah. Here's a question real quick.
Yeah.
You said he's divinely inspired to know how church should look and run.
Sure.
Why don't our churches look like that then?
Because, okay, so here's
we've had this conversation, I think, on this podcast.
Here's the interesting thing.
Just made me think that.
Biblically speaking, there are certain things that a church must do. And it's very clearly laid out, places in like 1 Corinthians where they give you church order and instruction. Mm-hmm. That is not an exhaustive list, and it's not every single facet. It would be nice maybe, and if we said, here's exactly how the church should look in every single facet. We don't get that. But by being divinely inspired by God to write the book of 1 Corinthians, which does have instructions for the few things that do matter, that's what I mean.
That's good.
All right.
Who
so
you
putting in?
You're right. I'm going to take Peter. Bold.
Yeah.
Good leadership style.
Okay.
In 1 Peter 5 lays out some of the like key qualifications for that type of leader, I'd imagine he meets them.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Peter, since you took my first pick.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's good. All right. You ready for your next
I'm ready.
role that you get to draft?
Yeah.
Now, should you go first every time, or should we alternate?
I don't
You
know.
went first
You're
on
the
the first
you're
one?
the draft king.
All right, I'm
that
the
a-
draft king.
Isn't that
That's a gambling site, I
an
think.
app or something?
Yeah. Okay. We're
We're not endorsed or sponsored by them. Although, if you're watching and you're from that company and you want to, email us, podcast@tfchurch.com. We'll talk about it.
That's good. All right. Youth pastor.
Oh, all right. So do I go again? Is it
No, I'm
somebody
gonna
or
go.
you're
We're gonna
going?
alternate.
We're alternating.
Yep.
Okay, you got youth pastor.
I have to go with Timothy.
Okay.
Protege.
Protege.
That's the
Okay.
French spelling.
Ah, yeah. I think isn't protege
Yes.
already French?
Protege of Paul.
Okay.
Right. So obviously had like the ultimate example, other than Jesus, but since we can't use Jesus in this draft, he was taught well. He was known as a strong young leader. Lots of really good mentors in his life. Led well. I think he had good character to guide younger believers. Yeah. And being a young person himself, he would connect really well with young people, but without necessarily the maturity that I had when I was today.
I like it. All right. Youth pastor. I'm going to go Old Testament.
Yeah.
We're going to pick Ezekiel.
Ooh, okay.
Now, why are we going to pick Ezekiel? All right. Remember how Ezekiel had to like lay on his side for a super long amount of time?
Yep.
And then he had to cook food over like human waste.
Yep.
And then it got so these are the kind of things that sound like what a youth pastor would have to do anyway. Like weird games, weird food games, having to sleep in uncomfortable positions for long periods of time. Like that is what you need when you're being a youth pastor, at least in a lot of modern youth groups. You got to have somebody a little bit crazy.
I love it. That was a deep cut for this role, and I'm here for it.
There we go. Ezekiel.
All right. You ready for your next pick?
Yeah. And I get to start this
Yeah.
time. Sweet.
Dang it. Worship leader.
Oh, that's the easiest one. So do I want to go with the obvious and easy one? So here's the thing. You've got a lot of people who wrote songs.
True.
And so the obvious pick, we'll just kind of talk through is David, right? He wrote the songbook, the Christian hymn book. Well, the Jewish hymn book, I mean. It was David. Now, was he just a lyricist? Was he able to write the music? He was probably able to write the music because we know he played the instruments. You could, if you wanted to be a little bit different, you could do like Miriam. She had some songs. Deborah, she had songs about stabbing people in the head, right? Or even Mary, Mother of God, as you say in Catholic circles. I don't know why I said it like that. But you've got some options. If you want to have a little bit of variety of perspective and opinions on your team, I've already got some pretty cool people. So I might now see, but again, volume wise, David wrote the most, so he'd be the most consistent. But who would lead the people? I'm going to say Miriam. She had some songs. She led the people. She worked with Moses, and this gets our team a little more well-rounded in perspective.
Wow. That was
Unexpected. Booyah.
And so I assumed you were going to go David.
I know
so
you did.
I was ready to go with my second pick.
Who was your second pick?
And I'm actually going to go with my second pick.
All right, David. Sorry, dude. You're on the sidelines.
Deuces.
Yeah,
Asaph.
pals. Who?
Asaph, the chief musician appointed by David.
The other guy who wrote a lot. And he wrote a lot of songs.
Wrote a bunch of psalms.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. It's not the obvious one. We'll let another church have David.
That's
They might need him, since we have all the other great leaders of the Bible.
The Branch Davidians. They were a cult. They can have David because he's in their name. What is the tick against David? There's nothing against David. Our producer in the room, Alexis, says, what's the tick against David? We didn't pick David because he's just a little too I didn't pick him because I wanted to go a little less obvious. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I'm trying to keep it fresh and unexpected.
Yeah, David's kind of like the glamour pick.
Yeah.
He
might be a little bit too much of like the rock star
worship leader.
And maybe you don't want somebody who's you want somebody with a little more humility. Sorry, David.
I don't know, but if you read his Psalms,
Yeah, but that was like that. That's all for show.
and you kind of want someone who's just going to dance unashamedly before the Lord.
You do.
Preferably with clothes on in our modern culture today.
No, it wasn't good in his culture either, but he did it.
So that's the tick against him. I want my worship leader to keep their clothes on.
You do want a fully clothed worship leader.
Are we ready for our next role?
Oh, but you know what? Real quick, before
We're not ready. Okay.
you could have said, but you were stuck with only humans. You know how people always say like, and I don't think this is accurate, but people always say that Satan was like the leader of music in the angelic realm.
boy.
So you could have picked him.
Could have.
Pre-fall. Pre-fall Satan. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think he was the worship director of heaven, though. I think that's made up.
Our next role.
Okay, let's do it.
Nope. Sometimes you just got to move on from certain things. Children's ministry leader.
Oh,
My stomach just growled really loudly.
you're hungry.
I'm hungry.
Hungry like the wolf. So you're picking first on this one, right?
I'm picking
That's
first.
good. That gives me a second to think about it.
I'm going to go with the mother of Samuel, Hannah.
Because her name's a palindrome. Makes
Because her
sense.
name's a palindrome and she can use that to her advantage in dealing with children. No, we hear from her in her like motherly prayers. For this child I have prayed, the Lord's granted my petition. I've given him to the Lord. There's just this idea from her that her goal is to raise children in the Lord. And regularly pray for them. And so I think that's like just a key. Any church leader, you want someone who's their goal is to point them towards the Lord, and they're going to regularly be praying for them. So I want that motherly tenderheartedness in this role at my made up church here.
What's the name of your made up church? Did you come up with that yet?
Not yet. I want to get the
You gotta
staff
get
in
the
place,
staff in,
figure out
and then
the
you'll come
culture,
up
the
with the
vibe, and
vision
come up
and-
with yeah.
So I've got a couple options. I was thinking in a similar way, you could go with like Lois, the grandmother of Timothy, because she led him to faith, and
good.
that's already a good as a child. But then you could also go with like Moses. He led the children of Israel. Why not the children of your church?
Okay.
Oh,
you could also marry.
or you could go with Joseph, who has multicolored coat. Like that'd just be fun, and he's got like dreams and interpretation. That would be good too.
Every Sunday school. All right, kids, tell me about your dreams.
Yeah. Or you go with Eve. She's the mother of all mankind.
Man.
She's like a good mother figure. Good with kids. Although her first two were kind of, one of them was okay. Let's go with.
We all make mistakes.
It's like how much do we know about them? Like Lois, good option from what we know, but what if she was also really mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes it tough.
It does.
We're going to go with Eve. As the mother of all humanity, she can be a good children's leader.
I like that.
She had to have a lot of kids, so I'm assuming she'll be okay with it.
All right.
All right.
Eve, the mother of all. All right, your next.
Eva.
Your next one. You're up on this one.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Okay.
Small group leader.
Oh, small group leader. So is this person like the one coordinating and setting up all the small groups?
No, I think this
Or
is a
they're
key
just
volunteer
one
role.
person leading one small group?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. But like this is your model small group leader. You're going to probably use this person.
See,
to
I want
maybe,
this person to maybe be coordinating all the different
you
small
can,
groups
but,
too.
But they lead. They don't just coordinate.
Okay.
They can train and equip your other small group leaders. That's how good they are.
Okay.
I mean, at least that's the goal, right? You get someone in that role that's just like, bam, they got it.
Jethro, father-in-law of Moses, because Moses was struggling to deal with all the administrative stuff of Israel. There's too many people, and everybody's coming to Moses with their problems. And Jethro said, "Look, put everybody in small groups,
Dang.
judge it up that way." So he'd be great, and then he could lead one as well.
That was deep. All right, Jethro. That's good.
That's what I'm going.
Oh man. Okay.
I was like, I don't know where I'm going. I said, nah.
And it
That's
landed.
where we went.
It landed
Hey,
well.
It landed.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like Michael Scott, I just start talking and I hope that where I end up is where I need to be.
Hashtag every one of our podcast episodes ever.
Yep.
Not just for you. That's just what we do here.
That's how we do.
All right. I'm gonna go with Philip,
Okay.
the one who evangelized to the eunuch, the Ethiopian eunuch. He has shown an ability to explain the gospel clearly, to guide others to understand the truths of God's word.
Okay.
I think he would be great for a church that's focused on outreach and discipleship. I think he encompasses both those really well.
Quick question. With me picking these Old Testament characters,
Yeah.
are we assuming that in this ridiculously made up scenario that they've come to a full knowledge of who Jesus is
Yes.
and everything,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
They're like,
100%.
oh, I see. Okay. Just make sure. Continue.
All right. Oh, this is my turn.
Yeah.
Next is our outreach and missions coordinator.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, he says.
Outreach and missions. You got a lot of good options here.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Barnabas.
Barnabas. Okay.
I should have looked. So I asked the ChatGPT to give me these 10 roles.
Okay.
And I feel like I should have looked at all 10.
No,
in
but
advance.
then you can go in. You're going in without pre-thinking.
Right, but now
though.
I'm picking someone that maybe they're like, what if there's like a chief encouragement officer?
Then that was your problem.
All right, Barnabas, he is the chief encouragement officer. So I think being the outreach coordinator, you want someone who's able to be super encouraging. He had a heart for spreading the gospel. So there's kind of our missions, the international focus. He's outwardly focused, others focused, and I think that's a good fit for this role.
Okay.
I call him Barney.
I call him Barney.
Yeah, because we're tight like that.
Barnacle. I would. Okay, so on the one hand, if I want to go like New Testament, I'd go like maybe Luke. You know, he's well traveled. He knows the world. He is passionate about sharing the gospel. But I think I'm going to go Old Testament again. I've got a lot of old. That's why I wanted to clarify.
I love it.
I got a lot of Old Testament because we're going to go Jonah.
Oh, okay.
Jonah knows what it's like to be a missionary in a difficult place.
Okay.
He knows how to get that. He can help work with our other missionaries abroad because he knows what it's like to follow God's call, even when it's tough and when you don't want to. He's been there. So he'd be great at coordinating all that.
And the consequences of like saying no.
Yeah.
So he's learned a good lesson.
And he smells all fishy forever.
Well, I don't know if you want a fishy, stinky.
Or
That was
like
a
his
weird
skin is
one.
all bleached and I don't know.
All right. You
right.
ready for your next one?
Yeah.
And you're up on this one, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your church administrator.
Church administrator?
Yep.
So they're running all the office, payroll, that type of stuff?
Yeah. Maybe even more. Like you could say this is almost a combo role of what we have here between our executive director, because he focuses on a lot of the administrative aspects of leading a church, as well as our office manager. It's a little twofer.
The first thought you want to be like Judas because he handles the money. But I don't think he was
Wonderfully
good.
too.
He probably wasn't good at it, was he? Administrator, we are going to go Solomon. He's
Okay.
wise. He knows how to handle everything, including situations that come up. He can arbitrate between people. He can help administrate both the staff as well as the other things that need to happen.
Great choice. That wisdom is going to be huge.
Wisdom's going to be huge.
Now we haven't run into this problem yet, but can I or you draft someone that the other person drafted, but for a different role, or they're done?
No, they're done. They can't be. They can't work at two churches.
They're not two people. Well, I mean,
they're
some
not
people
two
do.
people.
All right, perfect.
No, it's the same person. If you were doing a baseball-y one,
right. I can't.
You wouldn't be able to pick somebody somewhere else.
However, you can draft Shohei Ohtani as a batter, and I could draft Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher. Because he does fulfill two roles.
That's weird. But they're the same person. They can't be on two teams. I don't like that.
All right. Okay, so for my church administrator, I have two I'm thinking through right now.
Okay.
One of them's Joseph, because he had shown the ability to manage resources really well.
It's a good one.
And distribute to the needy. made sure things ran smoothly. The other person I was thinking about was Nehemiah, as you would say.
Nehemiah.
Yeah, that's true. Skilled planner, skilled leader.
Yeah.
You oversaw the rebuilding of the walls, which, I mean, that's a skill right there.
So who do you go with? Judas.
I'm going to go Joseph.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Ex-con. So that's, you get some sort of a governmental benefit for that.
Absolutely. Nope.
Not DEI. There's something else. There's some sort of incentive.
Yeah.
for
What's
it.
there's a program for that, right?
I think so.
All right.
But okay, do you run into an issue
From convict to convert?
Do you run into an issue now? You're bringing this guy in, and can he ever volunteer in kids ministry? Because will he pass a background check? Probably not.
How many years has it been?
I don't know.
Because
3,000?
certain things only stay on for certain. Yeah, I think we're past the.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Our next
Continue.
role is a church counselor.
How many is this?
This is our number 8.
So we're
almost done.
3 more.
Yep.
Okay.
My church counselor. Dang it! You already chose Solomon.
I know. Duh. Dang it. That would be a good one though.
All right. I'm gonna go Job.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
Job as your church counselor. Okay, so this is somebody running counseling sessions with
perseverance,
right?
restoration. He understands what empathy actually looks like, pain and hardship, life's challenges, and he knows what not to say because he experienced firsthand some really bad advice from his friends. So Job is my pick for church counselor.
What were okay, now I'm trying to think of what their names were that I was thinking of. All right. So I don't know if this is allowed. You have to let me know if
I
this
don't
is
know
allowed.
if this is allowed.
I don't know if this is allowed.
We're making this up as we go.
It's a duo as this role.
Okay.
Husband, wife.
Okay.
Priscilla and Aquila.
Yeah. Okay.
House church leaders.
Yep.
They can deal with, you don't have to worry about like a single man trying to counsel a woman by herself, or you've got a married couple. They can co-counsel. They're leaders of a house church. They know how to do that pastorally. Mm-hmm. So they're the duo counselors. And they can, when needed, like he can just sit down in the appropriate situation with, a young man or whatever. And they can do premarital counseling. They can do couples counseling, individual counseling. They got it all.
I accept.
Woo!
Yep. That was really good.
All right.
Okay. Your turn.
This is a fun one. I like this. Oh, no.
Media/tech specialist.
Oh, my goodness. Media/tech specialist. We are going with whatever John it was on Patmos for Revelation.
Okay, why?
After the crazy visions he had, he's going to be so creatively inspired to make awesome, like, creative direction, and he'll be able to figure out the tech stuff anybody can learn, but he's got the mind for, like, the big and the grandiose, and what he'll put forward is going to be super intriguing and compelling.
I like it.
Was that because we don't know? Is it for sure the Apostle John?
It's assumed.
Okay,
but for sure,
there's a couple Johns. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm here for it. All right. I had to look up to confirm the name of this person.
Oh.
Bezalel.
Beelzebub.
No, not that one. Chosen by God to be a part of the craftsmanship, the construction of the tabernacle and its furnishings. So there's like some creative thinking in that. And that's who I want in this role. I want someone who can think creatively.
Right.
You can read about him in Exodus 31. That's what I had to confirm.
Confirmed on
he had an assistant, but God specifically chose him to fill this role.
I like it.
And I think he's gonna get it.
All right. I'm here for it.
is all right. We are on our final position for our Bible character church staff.
This is it?
And this is a key role. It's all, and I go first. This is even better. It's all about greeter / hospitality lead.
Oh.
Right? You know, that first impressions. Person's going to make sure everyone feels welcoming or welcomed. This needs to be a warm personality. Hospitality is their forte. Who do I want? I'm going to go Lydia.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lydia. Open her home to Paul and other people in the early church. Seems to have this heart for hospitality.
Okay. I'm going to go Mary, mother of Jesus. Because think about the first miracle Jesus performed. They were at a wedding. They needed more wine. Who came to Jesus to be like, hey, let's get this figured out. Let's get the guests taken care of. Let's
Woman,
make
it is not my time.
And he said, woman? But no.
But he did it anyway.
He did. And
Which means
I don't
she's
know if
persuasive.
It was. Yeah.
She can
she
get
was
people
able to inspire people to help make sure that the needs were being taken care of.
I like that.
So
that's really good. Okay, so
that's our church staff.
That's our church staff.
Now, one of the things I want to do is we're gonna again have ChatGPT help us to create a picture of each of these church staffs that's going to be on the screen right now. So you're seeing my church staff. If you're a video listener right now, this is my church staff.
Nathan's lead pastor was Paul. Youth pastor Ezekiel. As you're looking at this picture, if you're watching, if you're just listening. Go
find us on
Worship
YouTube.
leader was Miriam. Your children's ministry leader was Eve. Your small group leader was Jethro. Your outreach and missions coordinator was Jonah. Your church administrator was Solomon. Your counselor, Priscilla Aquila duo. Your tech specialist, John, the one from the island of Patmos. And then your greeter, hospitality lead, Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Perfect.
And good looking crew. That's a good team, dude. That's a good team.
That's a good staff. I'd start that church. All right. And now your staff that you're showing on the screen now.
Lead pastor is Peter. Youth pastor is Timothy. Worship leader is Asaph. Children's ministry leader is Hannah. Small group leader is Philip. Outreach and missions coordinator is Barnabas. Church leader or church administrator is Joseph. Counselor is Job. My tech specialist is Bezalel. And my greeter hospitality lead is Lydia. Yeah. I'd go to both these churches, I think. Right. Quality team of people. Loving the Lord.
I like it.
Outreach focused, I think, on both these teams. They're very like others centered.
Yeah,
a lot of humility, a lot of good leadership. Yeah. Let us know which team you think wins.
Yeah, you got to email us, podcast@dfchurch.com with your vote on which church would you attend?
Yeah. Yeah. Which church would be the more effective church in reaching people?
I like that.
For the kingdom.
Email us again, podcast@dfchurch.com. We did not get any emails this week, so I'm going to really need you guys to step it up. Whatever you're doing right now, stop what you're doing. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's fine. Pull out your phone, open up an email, podcast@dfchurch.com. Let us know if you're driving your car, pull off to the side of the road safely. If you're listening to us in the shower, hop out. If you're making a sandwich right now, that's fine. Take a bite, send us an email. Now,
and then send us a sandwich.
And then send us a picture of the sandwich that you were eating.
No, I'm like really hungry and I just want to eat a sandwich.
Send one to be delivered because we'll eat that sandwich on the show. What if it's like
Jimmy John's super fast delivery?
It'd have to be because if they sent us a sandwich and it was like,
ew,
gross, I don't want to eat it.
All right, don't send us a sandwich. You can comment.
You can comment as well, but whatever you do, let us know. Now, normally this is where we've lately been going into our humorous book. We're going to take a week off from that because you don't want to go through it too fast. We don't want to be out of stuff to read from that book. So instead, I'm going to end with something a little different today.
Ooh.
We were playing. I don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast because podcast and real life just blur together. I don't know what's where. So at our game night at church a couple weeks ago, we were playing The Bible is Funny. If you've never played The Bible is Funny, the purpose of this game is just like Apples to Apples, where there's a topic card put down and then everybody plays what they think is the best fitting or funniest card. Now, the difference with this one is that all of the cards that you're playing are just Bible verses, just taken maybe out of context or a weird translation to increase the humorous effect. We just got a laugh from our producer. So somebody played the card. The next song by Chris Tomlin is, whatever. And then we all put in different Bible verses that would be the song by Chris Tomlin. One person put down a specific verse from Numbers in the King James Version. And that is important for this because the King James Version talks about God having the strength of a unicorn. Now, why did they use the word unicorn? We can go back into that. The Hebrew word just seemed to be horned beast in when the Septuagint authors translated it into Greek. They used the word monokeros, which means one horn, which then was translated in Latin to unicornus, which then in English became unicorn. That's where you get that word. They're probably talking about a cow or an ox or a rhinoceros. Most likely the original Hebrew authors were not thinking of the mythical horned beast that we think of. But it's funny. And so that's what the person said. That person won that round because that's a hilarious idea to think of a worship Chris Tomlin song about a unicorn. So, of course, I had to have the AI actually write that song. So in closing today, I'm going to just play that song for you guys as we leave. That song will just be playing to finish out the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, it's fine. I'll put a little graphic up on there while that song plays. And with that, we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
You led your people through the night, a mighty hand, a holy light. Chains were broken, fear undone, freedom rising like the sun. Who can stand against our King? Every foe will fall and flee. You have the strength of a unicorn, power unshaken forevermore. You break the walls, you part the sea. The Lord of hosts fights for me. From the mountain to the deep, your voice thunders while we sleep. None can steal the grace you give. In your power we will live. Who can stand against our King? Every foe will fall and flee. You have the strength of a unicorn, power unshaken forevermore. You break the walls, you part the sea. The Lord of hosts fights for me. No kingdom stands, no army reigns like the one who holds the name. Every promise true and strong. You have led us all along. God, you reign, we lift you high. Mighty Savior, glorify. You have the strength of a unicorn, and you will reign forevermore. God, you reign, we lift you high. Mighty Savior, glorified. You have the strength of a unicorn.